Hi, my name is Adrian Magno. I'm one of the senior engineers here at Konnectus. Today we're here to talk about tender management. So you've put out an AV design and you've gotten a bunch of responses from the different AV contractors. How do you evaluate, which one's the best one for you? So Dave, is it all about price?
Well, a lot of people would think yes, it's all about price. If I can get the best price, then I'm set. That's the best deal. It's all about price. Drill everybody down till I get the best price. Get that price, walk away. That's what seriously most people think. But if you're doing that, that's really selling yourself short. You're probably not going to get the best fit for your project or for your company as a whole. There's a lot more to it than that, and we'll get into that later. But look, it is important to evaluate price, Adrian. And the way we kind of like to do it is break it down. We evaluate the equipment, the software, and then the labour, all separately. Okay, so the equipment, obviously we're just trying to look at the particular models or similar types of equipment from the different companies and just see that first of all, are they similar pricing, and B, are they competitive market pricing. Then the same thing with the software, really, same kind of process. And then the labour, you just want to get it so that it's not too light, not too heavy, just right. Kind of the Goldilocks principle there. And that's basically it. So sort of do that evaluation of price and have that comparison. And very important step, but definitely not the only step.
Oh, I understand. I mean, if you did get an AV design, I suppose made by an AV consultant, for example, wouldn't the price for equipment all be the same anyway?
Oh, I suppose if it was one of our designs where we hard specify all the equipment and it's basically just comparing the 3 or 4 different contractors for the same bit of equipment, yeah, sure, it's a very easy comparison and it's quite quick. So I guess that's one of the benefits of doing it that way. It's very quick and easy to evaluate the price. Yeah, it would be.
Oh, I understand. What if you've done the things that you were saying, you've broken things into equipment and labour, and you've done a bit of an apples for apples comparison.
Yep.
But you've noticed that one of the tenders is 20% cheaper than everyone else.
Yes.
Does it start to make you feel uneasy, or?
Oh no, it doesn't make me uneasy, mate. I couldn't care less. I've just got a job to do, and that is to evaluate, dig a little deeper and make sure that we've uncovered all the stones and sort of done the proper due diligence. So. What that is telling me though is let's go and do the next step, which is, I guess, evaluate that particular contractor for compliance with the design. Okay, so let's say, for example, they've missed a system type or large piece of equipment somewhere, or a room type, or even a quantity of rooms or systems, just clerical errors. That happens all the time. So that's something we go and check for. It's sort of the first thing. The other thing we might be checking then is, okay, if it wasn't a hard spec design, if it was maybe a performance specification that was given and the design is on the AV contractor to put together, well, let's go have a look at that design and evaluate it against the performance specifications. So is the equipment up to scratch, up to specification? Is the kind of the design they're putting forward going to work? Is it going to give the actual user requirements that the customer is looking for? Trying to evaluate a little deeper at that level, and quite often we'll uncover in those 2 steps quite a bit, and the price then might go back up and be in line with the others.
So I know my wife, her eyes light up every single time she goes to a store and sees something mislabeled with the wrong price, because then she'll go right up to the cleric and say, this is what it says, this is essentially what I'm going to pay.
Yep.
Is it the same, I suppose, in the tender environment? Can you hold maybe contractor to clerical errors?
Well, absolutely. I think you give them a chance. At least that's how we roll. We kind of have it specified in our documentation that we've done a clear design and we've specified all the equipment, and from there on it's up to the AV contractor to make sure that they have included everything to make a fully functioning working system as per the design intent. It does depend on the actual contract at the end of the day. So if they're following our contract, then, well, too bad really. It's written there, and if you've made clerical mistakes, I'm sorry, but try harder next time.
Fair enough. I did want to ask if if they're still much cheaper, is it like, does it send alarm bells, or is there something wrong?
Oh, potentially. So we need to dig a little deeper again. So yes, we've obviously looked at the price, and then we've checked for compliance with the design. And now the next thing we're going to look at is team. Okay, so there's lots of great AV contractor companies out there, and they have plenty of experience, and they've done fantastic projects, and they can show you all of those as examples, and you can call up for reference and things like that. You should do that step. But what I'm more interested in is who's the actual set of team members that's going to be on that project. Okay, so I want to see their names, I want to see their CVs, I want to see what percentage of time is allocated to the actual project. They have to be the right set of people for this particular project and for this particular customer. Okay, so it's quite a bit of work there to go through and sort of make sure that all lines up. If it's maybe not the right team, maybe they don't have enough experience, you'll find that out quickly, and you'll go back to the contract. At least that's what we do, and we say, hey, we need you to change the personnel for this reason or that reason, and that therefore may affect their price, to be honest. They may have to lift it back up again. So very important.
So I've had a few tenders that have come in, and I suppose the CVs of the different people on the team haven't been provided. What do you do in that instance?
I just insist. I want to see the CVs. Very important, as I say. They might not be used to giving that level of information, and that's fine. But we are quite thorough in that process, because it's a very important step to get the right team of people on that project for that particular customer. So we want to just do our homework and make sure. It's like when you hire someone, you want to do your background checks and things like that. It's the same thing when you're hiring a contractor to do work for you.
I understand. There was one thing that you mentioned, previously, the fit. So you were saying an AV customer needs to be the right fit for the AV contractor.
Yes.
Do you mean personality-wise? You don't want to make a headstrong project manager with a headstrong AV contractor because they might bicker? Is that what you mean by that?
Oh, look, I mean, personality can come into it. I probably don't go that deep very often. I mean, in terms of a project manager, yeah, you do want someone who's pretty headstrong and going to sort of smash heads when required. That's actually a good trait to have as a project manager, because you've got to hit those deadlines. However, what I'm really thinking about is more the long term. Okay, so well, maybe there's two things I should mention. The first is, well, what's the approach that this company has? We've looked at price, we've looked at compliance with the design, we've looked at the right team of people. And what's their approach actually, to delivering the project? Quite often there's going to be, big one. There's maybe a builder involved, and they might have a construction program. I'd like to go back to the AV contractor and say, hey, this is the current construction program. What's your program to fit in with that to deliver this AV solution? And that's actually a good test, because then they'll come back to you with what they think is right, and you can clearly see, do they know what they're doing? Do they have the right approach? Have they done this before? Are they going to work well with that particular builder? And even when there's not, a builder, maybe it's a smaller project, asking them to do that, to see what's their program, what's their approach and methodology. You can clearly see, if they know what they're doing, if they have the experience that they say they do. So that's important, to see if they're the right fit to deliver the actual project. But the other big thing in terms of fit is kind of long term. Okay, so yes, we've got to get that project delivered, and it's got to be delivered well. But after that, what happens? Does this company have the ability to service and maintain that equipment or that solution for the customer? So important and so often overlooked. It's probably one of the things I feel most strongly about, most passionately about, because month 1 or month 11 or year 3 down the track, if there's an issue with equipment or a solution or something, and as poor people are trying to use it and just getting frustrated, well, you know, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. No, seriously, they need to have a plan in place, and it needs to be a reliable company providing that service.
So just before we go, thank you so much for all the information. It's been very informative. One of the problems that I do generally run into when we come to this step of our providing solutions to our clients is when you have 3 tenders and they're all basically 1%, 2% difference in price. You've called all the different qualifying bodies and made sure that all the teams put forward are all adequately qualified. Labor is relatively even, equipment's relatively even. How do you choose between 3 things that basically look exactly the same?
Look, in all my years of doing this, I've never seen that happen. If you go and do all of those 5 steps that I've just talked about, you'll find there's going to be a clear winner. If you sort of only do the first couple of steps, or even the first 3, yeah, you will have that dead heat sometimes. And then what do you do? Just flip a coin, I suppose, because you can't go any further. But that's not really the right approach. If you cover all those 5 steps, you'll actually always get a clear winner who is the best long-term fit and project fit for the customer. So that's what I would recommend.
Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Thank you.